The lesson.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. DJ Staen 1.
Yo, what's up, man?
Long time no see. How are you?
Yeah, man. Good, man. Good.
Surviving the COVID?
Mate, we're all good, mate. Hey, it's all good. We're just talking about this, so it's good to some people and bad to others. I'm cool.
Now, man, it's good to finally get you on.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
You know, 3-time national DMC champion in Australia, and we'll talk about all that in a moment.
Yeah, all good, man.
And actually, for me personally, you know, one of my bigger influences as a DJ.
Thanks, man.
I remember the first time I saw you spin was the Hoods gig at Thebby Theatre, which I think was 2004.
Yeah.
Like I remember it clearly, man. You had the blue low brim LA cap and like
No doubt.
the whole swagger shit. And
Yeah,
I was
man.
like,
that was a dope gig, man. I mean, that must have been the Hard Road launch.
No, I think it was the one before. So they did the Calling launch at the Planet.
Oh, maybe the DVD.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the
that shit
first
was
one
fucking...
after the Planet, and it was the first time that you know, they had the pyrotechnics.
Yeah, that was a big jam, man. I remember that. Yeah, that was cool, man.
I think After Hours and Fun Cause were on the bill.
All crew was in the house that night, man. Yeah, it was a big gig, man.
And
at the time, it was the biggest, I think. Adelaide crew had thrown, man. So
yeah,
it was fucking big, yeah.
And I think you might have come out, like obviously you were doing intermissions, but I think you might have come out just before the Hoods.
I played just before they came on, yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember, like for me, when I walked out of that show, it was a crazy show. But one of the most memorable things was like, who the fuck was that dude on the decks? I didn't even know who your name. Well, like I don't think I even knew that you and Staen, like that was the same person.
Yeah, okay.
I might have heard the name.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cool. And then
that means I did my job that night, man.
Oh, you did, man. I remember you had something with the. Is it still on vinyl then? I'm pretty sure I remember you flipping the records.
Totally was. Yeah.
And you were doing something with Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, I think the ABC song going into like the OPP Naughty by Nature.
Yeah.
Something like that. But that's how much of an impact, like so many years later, I remember it.
Yeah,
and you were going behind the back and shit. And I was like, the stage presence that you had was bigger than a lot of local rap acts.
That was my goal, man. In fact, it was very consciously my goal I wanted to be the first dude around that was like an act in my own right.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not at the club playing a DJ set and taking requests and whatever else. I'm doing my thing. You know what I mean? And it was like, you know, I'd always have someone introduce me and try to make it as large as I could and make this persona thing feel like make this illusion that it was bigger than life and fuck, here comes a superstar, man. You know what I mean? But it was all an act, man. It was just a little something to try and get more money out of gigs, man. Yeah. To be honest, because if people thought you were a fucking rock star, you could ask more money. Yeah. And that was my goal. You know what I mean? Just make these people believe that I'm a rock star, man, and that, you know, when you throw a stupid number at them, they don't go, fuck you, mate. They go, okay, he's worth it because he fucking smashed it at the last gig or whatever.
And you got that persona.
Yeah, so that was a very conscious thing that we tried to do, and, you know.
And then, so is that why, because I remember every time you had Betts come out, and I think set your mixer up and shit. Well, look, like man,
that. He's been my homeboy since we was like 5 or 6 years old. We grew up in the same street, a couple of houses down the road. So, you know, when we started becoming teenagers and got into this whole DJ thing, we fucking jammed at his house. He had a big garage out the back and the whole fucking setup, and it was pretty dope, you know what I mean? And we'd jam out there, and we was always push each other, you know. We give each other shit. You know, your shit's whack, man. You know, whatever the case may be, that routine sucks. He's the only one who would just tell me, man, that shit sucked, man. Eh? You know, I'll say, I do a routine. How was it, man? Everyone's going, that was fucking dope, man. That was dope. That's the first dude who will tell me, man, you're a bit sloppy on that fucking mix between
this and that.
Between Michael Jackson and fucking OPP, you know what I mean? Yeah. He'd tell me, so, you know, we always jammed together like that. Every set I ever did was put together with him, and it was like a team thing, man. You know, so that was our thing, man.
Yeah,
And so he was always around.
Because when I remember, I reckon I started going to DMCs in like 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
That's when I really started to pay attention to the Turntablist thing.
Yeah.
Now, I also remember, like, I think it was just after that Hoods gig, maybe, like, A-Track came to Traffic, and the footage is still online, and you guys were going cut for cut.
Yeah.
And fuck, man, I was like, man, Staen's hanging with, like, an A-Track.
Yeah.
And then I do remember on the last one, A-Track comes in and he just does some crazy shit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Staen's super dope, but now I remember still what A-Track's.
Yeah, man.
A-Track, like,
look, that was a good time for fucking DJing, man. You know, that was the golden era, you could say, for turntablism and hip-hop DJing, and that's when we got into it, you know, late 90s. I think I saw a DMC video maybe in 98. We've been collecting hip hop records from 1990, around that time. But only really saw a DMC video around 98. My homeboy just bought one randomly, you know. He's like, check this shit out, man. Hey, I'm like, man, we were already buying records. Because if you want to dope hip hop, you got to buy a wax, man. You can't go buying those fucking CDs back then, you know what I mean? So we had these records, and, you know, of course we're fucking going to try scratching them. And then my homeboy showed me this video. I'm like, man, that shit is pretty fucking dope, man. Hey, like, we got some wax, man. We should get some fucking turntables. You know what I mean? But we was young kids. 1200s was expensive.
Yeah.
So we bought some piece of shit. You know? And we fucking took it from there, man. We got the Radio Shack mixer and
started from the ground up.
Started from the ground up, man, because we were never part of the Adelaide scene. You know what I mean? Everyone knew each other. It seemed like, you know, the people doing all the gigs and stuff, they're all mates and stuff. And we were the cats that, the hip hop kids that grew up from a young age doing this shit, but no one knew that. You know what I mean? We probably been at this longer than a lot of those dudes. You know what I mean? But they didn't know that till we started entering these competitions later in the piece, man. You know what I mean? So. So then, we come from a completely different background than a lot of the Adelaide crew, you know. Because
one of the things that stood out to me is, from memory, it felt like you came out of nowhere. Like, I'd heard the Refluxes, like, because I was watching Reflux and Kim Dezen on 4Dex. Yeah. I remember those shows. And
Mad Cat.
Yeah, like, that was a bit before me, but I knew of, and, like, you know, Cancel, Snare, you know, Juice, the Battle Hogs dudes. And then I remember seeing you battle Summon for Supremacy 1 year. I can't remember.
Yeah, they did that 1 year.
And that was the first time I seen you.
Yeah, okay.
And so what I'm wondering is, when did you actually start, you know, digging, then getting into the turntablism side of it, and then how long from that to when you competed?
So digging, man, like, I can tell you that fucking straight up, man. It come down to one night. We were listening to the fucking radio, you know, flacking them, enough respect. Used to be on the Coast FM. Yeah. So we used to record that shit religiously. And then it went to fucking maybe 93 degrees in the shade or something.
Yep.
And one night, Mad Cat's fucking cutting it up. His shit's skipping all over the joint, man. Hey, he's playing some dope shit. They'd always play some heat from Centrals because Mad Cat worked at Central Station. And he gets on the mic afterwards and he said, man, and I never forget this shit. He said, our tracks are skipping because we're playing records in here. And if you are a true hip hop head, you don't buy nothing but wax. You buy that shit stuck in my fucking head, man, and it never left. And I thought, you know what? He's fucking right, man, eh? And I never bought another tape again. I bought records from that day. So we're talking mid to late 90s maybe. I can't remember what year, maybe 96, 97 maybe. You know, I was collecting hip hop tapes from way before that. I had an older brother who went to high school before me. He went to Unley High where there was a lot of riders at. He got himself a hands on an Ice-T tape Rhyme Pays.
Yeah.
And when I heard that shit, man,
That was it.
I was a young kid in primary school, man. I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know, brothers being brothers. He wouldn't let me dub the shit, you know, so I had to fucking listen through his door for a week before he'd let me fucking have a copy of the shit. And man, that's it. We've been collecting hip hop tapes ever since then. That was around 1990. Madcap made me turn the corner onto wax in around mid-90s. And then from there, we was just collecting wax and just some kids, some graph writers that loves fucking hip-hop, man. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, my homeboy came home one day after a trip to Centrals with a DMC video and a handful of wax. I'm like, let's play the fucking heat first. But we'll watch the video later, you know what I mean? And we watched the shit and I'm like, man, this is fucking pretty dope, man, you know? And look, one of the things was there was a fucking Australian on there, right? So Dexter in 98, I don't know how many people seen that shit.
Yeah.
Fucking dope, right? So I'm like, shit, these Aussies are actually fucking dope too, man. I could do that shit. So I think one year, maybe 99 or something, we went to the local DMC because we heard that it happens over here. And I seen these guys and I'm like, man, they're good, but they're not that fucking good. You know what I mean? I was an arrogant little shit, you know? And they were better than me, but I thought I could give it a crack. So no, we gave it a crack maybe the next year, the year after. Maybe the year after that, actually started to get half decent at the shit because we've been at it for a while, you know? So then in 2003, my whole thing was just to be the unknown dude, you know what I mean? Like
to come out of nowhere and just
there was a lot of dudes that year, man. All the known dudes in the scene were part of the competition that year, so that's kind of why it was a big deal. And yeah, I was the only one really that was an unknown, you know what I mean? You had J Red, you had I think Stanley maybe from New South Wales, Sheep from Victoria, from Queensland. Fucking, you know, a few known names, man, and other people had been in the state finals and shit.
And then
so I didn't expect to win that year, man, you know what I mean? But I thought I could take these dudes, man. That's why I did that J Red diss.
The lesson. 927. Oh yeah.